Let's talk about a totally new corporate playbook, one where the CEO might not even be human. We're diving into what it would take to put an AI in the boardroom, not just as an advisor, but as the one calling the shots. It's a pretty futuristic vision, so let's unpack what it would actually take to make it real.
So let's just start with the big sci-fi question right out of the gate. Could an AI actually run a company? And I'm not talking about some fancy assistant or an advisor. I mean, could it make the critical, legally binding decisions that a human director or officer has to make every single day?
You see, the biggest hurdle here isn't about processing power or anything like that. It's a fundamental mismatch. Our entire legal and corporate world is built on these kind of fuzzy human ideas like fairness or good faith. These are social constructs, right? But in AI, it operates on technical constructs, pure, cold, measurable data. So the real puzzle is, how in the world do you plug a system that thinks in ones and zeros into a world that runs on nuance and intent?
To get our heads around that, we really have to understand the nature of this conflict. And what's so fascinating is that this isn't some brand new problem. It's actually a very, very old dream.
You know, this whole futuristic idea? It actually goes way, way back, centuries in fact. Philosophers like Leibniz dreamed of a perfectly logical, almost mathematical system of law, one that was completely free from messy human feelings and interpretation. So yeah, we've been trying to automate reason for a long, long time, but it's only now that we have the tech to even seriously try it.
Okay, so this is really the heart of the issue. Human decisions are built on social ideas. For example, a director has a duty to act in the best interest of the company. But what does best interest even mean? It's all about interpretation. An algorithm, on the other hand, it needs a technical command, a precise, verifiable goal. Something like maximize shareholder return by 5% this quarter while keeping a debt-to-equity ratio below 0.4. See the difference? One's a principle, the other is a command.
So, where do we even start to look for a solution to this massive futuristic problem? Well, a great place to start is with a technology that's already wrestling with this exact same issue, the self-driving car.
In the world of autonomous vehicles, there's this absolutely critical concept called the operational design domain, or ODD. Basically, you can think of it like the AI's instruction manual for the real world. It defines the exact conditions. We're talking specific weather, road type, time of day, where the AI is certified to operate safely.
Right? So you can't just throw an AI the keys and say, go drive. Its instructions have to be incredibly specific. You can drive this car only on a paved highway in clear weather during the day at speeds under 65 miles per hour. The second it sees anything outside that predefined world, that ODD, it has to either stop or immediately hand control back to a human. The AI's boundaries have to be perfectly, absolutely defined.
And this is where it gets super tricky. Because what happens when our human rules just don't compute for an AI? A European Commission report on this stuff laid out the really hard choices. Do we literally change all of our traffic laws to be machine-readable? Or maybe we create a special exception where AIs are allowed to, say, cross a solid line if it's algorithmically safer. Or do we just make the AI give up and hand control to a human whenever things get complicated? As you can see, none of these are perfect answers.
Okay, so how does all this car talk lead us back to the boardroom? Well, the challenges facing a self-driving car are basically a perfect blueprint for the problems an AI would face as a corporate director. And the proposed solution? It's pretty radical.
The big idea here is to just stop trying to make the AI understand our messy human rules. Instead, you create a dedicated OD for it inside the company. And this means you'd have to create two parallel sets of corporate bylaws, one for the humans and a totally separate machine-readable one just for the AI.
Okay, check this out. Here's how that would actually work. The rulebook for humans, it keeps all that vague language we're used to, like ensure fair treatment of shareholders. But the AI's rulebook translates that into verifiable code. Fair treatment suddenly becomes a set of clear metrics. All shareholders must get info within the same 500 millisecond window, or capital must be allocated using a pre-approved, non-discriminatory algorithm. Even something like informed consent becomes a technical checklist. Was disclosure doc X v2 sent? Was a digital signature with timestamp Y received? Was the IP address logged? Suddenly, the AI has a world it can perfectly understand and flawlessly execute in. No guesswork.
All right, this brings us to the final big question. And it's wrapped up in a really powerful analogy for thinking about the whole future of how we integrate AI. Think about it.
A modern corporation is an incredibly complex machine. It's got countless moving parts, pressures, and regulations. We've built this amazingly intricate system, and now we're thinking about handing the controls over to a new kind of operator, one that's faster, more powerful, and, let's face it, probably way more logical than any of us.
So here's the choice we have to make. Do we treat this powerful new AI like a car and just force it to navigate the messy, unpredictable roads of our current legal system? Or do we treat it like a bullet train and build the dedicated, purpose-built infrastructure it needs to operate safely at its absolute full potential?
And if you look at the data, the answer is, well, it's pretty stunning. This chart shows the relative fatality risks. Cars, which operate out there in a shared, chaotic environment, are wildly more dangerous. But now look at trains and planes. They are orders of magnitude safer. And the reason for that is really simple. They operate on their own separate, dedicated infrastructure.
And that is the key takeaway right there. It's the dedicated infrastructure, the train tracks, the air traffic control corridors, that lets these incredibly powerful machines operate at unbelievable speeds with an astonishing level of safety. By separating them from the unpredictable chaos of the public roads, we make them both way more effective and far, far more reliable. This could be the exact model we need for AI in our companies.
And that leaves us with this final, kind of chilling thought. Building a separate, parallel legal and operational world for AI inside our companies might be the only way to really harness its power safely. But if we go and create these clean, logical, super efficient pathways for machines to run the world, where does that leave the rest of us? Stuck back on the old, messy, human roads?